Hi, today I'm going to show you how I'm harvesting free energy from this drainage pipe of the house. Uh, this pipe communicates directly with the roof, which is metal, and I think that what's happening is that the metal roof acts as a giant antenna that captures radiant energy, and that is traveling down this pipe, and I'm by connecting this pipe to the ground, I'm able to pull out about 12 volts of DC, and I'm lighting up some LEDs, a bunch of them. So I'm going to show you exactly how I'm doing that. Okay, so here are the LEDs lighting up the whole this whole band. Usually these are powered by 12 volts DC. Now here's the output on the multimeter. It's a little bit of a voltage drop there from 12 to about 8 while powering this. And now here's the setup. So one lead is connected to this drainage pipe that I showed you, and the other one is connected to the ground through this metal plate. So it's just a metal plate stuck in the ground. I will pull it out for you in order to later in order to show you that there's nothing else going on there. So these two cables are powering this breadboard, where I have actually the current generated by this uh, drainage pipe, and the ground is AC. uh, so like in any antenna, and there are about 50 volts AC, and I'm passing this through a rectifying bridge in order to get DC. In here I have a capacitor, and here I have a voltage regulator for 12 volts. And okay, pretty much this is the design. Here I have another small circuit to charge this accumulator here. So currently this is not connected to anything, so this whole thing is actually running from the current uh, that is generated but by this circuit, so the drainage pipe with the ground. Okay, so let's see now. In order to how I'm going to do this. Okay, like this. So okay, if I'm pulling out this uh, wire that is powering the LEDs, you'll see that they go out. Okay, and the multimeter is just showing a couple of millivolts. Putting this back in, these are lighting up. Okay, so these are powered by this circuit. In here you see that I have a now the MCU, because I'm measuring this current generated, and I'm sending it to the computer in order to log everything, and I'll show you later an even more interesting phenomenon. Okay, but for now, let me let me show you that this is just okay. I'm going to unroll this way back over here in order to see that these are powered by this thing. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out, and you'll see that those are going to go out. Okay, putting it back in, they're starting to glow again. Okay, so this whole thing is just running on the current that travels between the roof through the drainage pipe and the ground. Okay, this is quite interesting. This place is generating the most current. I also tried other so I also tried other drainage pipes on the house, but this one is generating the most. The others are generating a bit, but not that much. So I'm not really sure why that happens, but um, I suppose that it may be that through here the house is powered, so the cable that powers the house comes into the house. But when here I have a uh, electromagnetic field monitor that is going to, so as you can see, there is a small electric field and magnetic field here, but not enough. And now let's look what happens when I'm putting this here. So there's a huge amount of electric field, okay, that's running through this pipe, and that's how I discovered this. So I was playing around with this, and when I approached the drainage pipe, this happens. So I thought, okay, let's just see how much power does this thing generates, and it's quite a lot actually. It's enough to power this node MCU, but only during the day. And now I'm going to explain another thing that I discovered. This thing actually works during the night, but with a twist. It has a frequency when it's generating just as much power as now, except that with a certain frequency the power drops inexplicably. I don't know how and why, and I'm actually uh, sending a challenge out there to the internet to maybe you should try this at home and see if your metal roof is generating this power and what happens during the night. Okay, so I'm going to show you on the computer what I've logged about the power that this system generates. Okay, so small pause. I brought the computer here in order to show you the measurement that I did last night. So here what's happening here. Uh, so during the night, this is still working a bit, okay? Um, and there are periods when it outputs the same amount of power as during the day. So those LEDs there are still lighting up during the night. So this is not working only with solar energy. It's working with radiant energy and cosmic rays and stuff like that, like Tesla postulated mainly. But there are these, as you can see, this is has a quite a regular frequency. So this thing is staying up about 18 minutes, then is going down to about, okay, 2 volts here, uh, about 20 minutes, and then again up to about, okay, 12 volts. This is without the LEDs, so that's why the voltage is a little bit higher, and then again down and then up again and stuff like that. And here the MCU remained without the power and stopped transmitting. But however, this is what I did last night. This thing here is measuring at a different drainage pipe of the house, so that outputs a little bit less power, but the same phenomenon happens during the night. And then again, this is the measurement that I did directly on the output of the rectifying bridge without any capacitors and stuff like that. So there's a lot of noise here, but you can see the same pattern happening, only that there's a higher variation here, and this again the output only with capacitor on the output of the rectifying bridge. And this every night the same pattern happens. So I have no idea why this happens. Maybe you can do your own tests on your houses, and I wonder if you stumble upon the same thing, and maybe this is. So I decoupled this. First, I connected instead of the ground, I connected the system to actually to this, okay, to the grounding of my house from this socket here. And I thought that maybe there's something in the house that is generating this pattern here, but no. Uh, the same thing happened when actually using this plate in the ground, and happened the same thing on a different area of the house. So I don't know, maybe it's something with the house, maybe it's something with the roof, or maybe I have just discovered some kind of signal here that is generating that the roof of the house uh, is capturing, and I don't know, this is an open issue anyway. So okay, I'm, like I said, I'm capturing this from this signal from the node MCU. It's logging right now, so here it goes here. Okay, it's receiving signals as we speak. Okay, so I'm using the ADC slot of the node MCU, and it's pretty much the same as the reading of the multimeter. There is some variation due to calibration. I'm measuring this through this voltage divider here that is connected to the analog digital pin of the node MCU in order to measure this. So this is the setup. What I wanted to show you again is that this is not a hoax. I'm not doing anything crazy here. So let's see what happens if I'm actually, so if I'm disconnecting, you see that this is still shining here. Okay, if I'm disconnecting this thing here, the thing stops. Okay, so let's disconnect it. Let's disconnect this, and let's look at this this simple board that has this rectifying bridge and this output capacitor here, and simply connect this one to the drainage pipe. Okay, and connect this one here. Okay, and now let's disconnect this thing here. Okay, and simply connect the terminals of the, it's pretty hard with one hand. Okay, but you need to bear with me if you want to see this. Okay, so okay, this thing is, so it's outputting, it sees 55 DC volts. Okay, but as you can see, when you put a load on it, it's not actually that, because the amperage is pretty low. It's outputting about those LEDs there are are using about 70 milliamps. So it isn't it's not that much power, but it's enough to actually power this and power this node MCU here. I use this the output of the circuit here to charge this accumulator, and through this uh, source I was powering the node MCU during the day. However, during the night, because of those fluctuations, it didn't work. Okay, so the node MCU, at the rate that I used to monitor, it was consuming too much power to in order to remain stable. However, you can, if you are judicious with your power usage, you can actually power even a node MCU during the night. Or maybe I can on this on this house here uh, uh, during the night, or strictly from the energy produced by this drainage pipe. Okay, so let's now look at the um, let's look at the actual AC signal that this thing generates. Oops. Okay, so now I've connected exactly to the input from the drainage pipe to this to the ground. Okay, and if you look at DC, it's only a couple of mils. However, if you look at the AC, oh, okay, so it's not 50 now, but it's 30 volts. Okay, and if you look at the frequency, it's really about 34, 36. I've measured earlier, around this 35, 36 kilohertz. So the thing is generating, it's vibrating at around 33 to 36 kilohertz. Uh, that's this is the roof antenna. let's call it like this. So I know what else to show you. I think it's quite interesting, and if you, I'm going to show you my face and say more things later. Okay. Okay. So this is it with the current generated by this drainage pipe and the ground. I encourage you actually to test this on your own, to your own houses, if you have a metal roof, or maybe do some other experiments with this concept. Actually, the idea is not new. Tesla did talk about the radiating energy that you can capture with a plate elevated above the ground and connected to the ground. So I suppose it's something like this, or just the roof acting as a huge antenna. Um, the uh, the tiles on the roof are actually painted with electrostatic paint. I don't know if that helps in order to capture more energy, electric energy. So maybe that's why this thing works here. As I told you, it's not working the same on all the drainage pipes. This one is closer to the ground, it's smaller, so maybe less energy is lost while traveling down the pipe. I'm not really sure how this thing works, so I encourage you to test it on your own and send me any questions or discoveries that you have. And also, the curious thing that remains to be investigated is why during the night that signal with a certain frequency appears. So the the roof is generating the same voltage as during the day, but only for 18 minutes. Then it drops to about 2. Okay, stays 20 minutes, and then again 18 minutes is going up and then again down. I don't know why this happens, so it remains an open issue. and maybe we can um, investigate it together as a international community here here on YouTube. So that's it. I encourage you to spread the word. I don't know, subscribe to this channel. Maybe I'll post new findings in here and more experiments. So stay tuned and tell me what you've discovered. Thank you.